This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Students in Indianapolis public schools will likely begin the new year learning exclusively at home. Thanks for joining us here at 7. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. Today, the Office of Superintendent Alicia Johnson said she would recommend to the IPS board that the school year begin with virtual learning only once classes start on August 17th. The recent increase in COVID-19 cases in Marion County is prompting many schools to make last-minute changes to the beginning of the year. If the IPS board approves the plan at its meeting tomorrow, students would not return to in-person learning until at least October.
The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department has officially updated its use of force policies. There is now a ban on the use of chokeholds or any similar neck constraint. The rules create a clear standard for the use of deadly force. It also creates a clearly defines techniques of de-escalation that officers must use before the use of force can be considered. And there is also now a ban on officers firing their gun into or from a moving vehicle.
Less than 100 days, 14 weeks left until the November election. And with the ongoing pandemic and massive turnout expected, it's important to make your plan to vote as soon as possible.
RTV6 has been working to make sure you know your options when it comes to voting by mail with an absentee ballot. Tonight, we're looking at states that have uniquely prepared to have an election during a pandemic.
RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shows us what lessons Indiana can learn from the Evergreen State.
This is how almost everyone votes in Washington state.
We've been a vote-by-mail state officially since 2011.
That's Washington's Secretary of State, Kim Wyman.
We really started moving in that direction in 2005 when the legislature allowed any county to become a vote-by-mail county.
Secretary Wyman tells me it's convenient for everyone.
Vote-by-mail or, permanent absentee balloting for that matter works very well for both rural and urban voters.
When the coronavirus pandemic hit, Washington was one of 5 states that wasn't scrambling to figure out how to keep primary election voters safe because most voters already vote by mail. Other states, including Indiana, took notice.
Between my state election director, Loria Gino, and myself, we have personally spoken to someone in every state in the country, including D.C.
For the general election, transitioning from polling places to only vote by mail is out of the question for states like Indiana, according to Secretary Wyman. But there are some things counties can do to prepare for more mailed-in ballots than usual.
Are your scanners that actually tabulate the ballots, are they something you have to hand feed in one at a time, or can you put a stack of ballots in? Do you have letter openers that are high capacity? And it's just the mechanical parts of the operation that you want to have in place.
Indiana election officials have not yet announced any planned changes for the November 3rd election, but Secretary Wyman says voters should feel confident. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work happening to make the election successful for everyone.
Right now, election officials are just trying to figure out how we can keep our voters safe, how we can conduct the election and make sure it's accessible and secure.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
We are tracking the numbers on the pandemic as they affect everything from voting to schools opening. The state health department reports 630 new positive cases, all recorded Tuesday. And while the numbers are still high, except for Tuesday, we've seen a steady decline from Friday's record high of 1,011 cases. The overall positivity rate remains at 8.9%. 8 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. Those deaths occurred between June 26th and Tuesday. The statewide total of lives lost due to the coronavirus is 2,733.
Well, the first sign of a change appears right here. These are cirrus clouds, high, thin clouds moving into central Indiana from thunderstorms down to the southwest. We're 2 degrees cooler than the afternoon high, 85 degrees, the wind out of the southwest. Temperatures will be warmer tonight because of the increase in clouds. 78, your 11 o'clock temperature will only drop to around 70. Thunderstorms off to the west. That becomes the headline for tomorrow. We'll talk about where the heavier rain sets up and have the timing for you coming up.
It's Black Restaurant Week, and RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to highlight some of the businesses taking part in what they are calling a much-needed week. She shows us why owners are happy about the extra attention this year.
Black Restaurant Week means extra shine for spots who definitely could use the extra love.
Well, right now it's most important that we help black businesses because 60% of them are going out of business.
Alton Wilson is a teasing expert at Tease Me Cafe, where the coronavirus isn't keeping customers away, but employees are doing all they can to make sure everyone enjoys the experience of dining with them.
Tea is not coffee. You know, when you drink a tea, it takes 3 minutes to 10 minutes to get a cup of tea. So already right there, you gotta slow down. You gotta take a breath, you gotta inhale it. And our teas, since they're loose leaf, they're high quality. Whatever they smell like, they taste like.
Black Restaurant Week is not new, but this year the highlight is needed since COVID-19 has hit some restaurants hard.
With the coronavirus, we have been picking up lately. So originally we were only doing to-go only for the first 3 months. And we noticed a 75% decrease in our business.
Austin Bonds is the general manager over at Maxine's Chicken and Waffles. He says he does worry with all the changes when it comes to shutting down dining, opening again, then slowing down the reopening process.
We're just trying to capitalize on anything possible. We have to be creative in the way we generate sales.
For him, it's weeks like this that makes all the difference. He says last year his restaurant saw a 25% increase because of Black Restaurant Week, a boost he says he could really use right now. Working for you downtown, Troy Washington, RTV6.
To homeschool or not to homeschool, COVID-19 has a lot of parents asking tough questions. Coming up, we're laying out your options to see what's the right fit.
It is now required to mask up across the state, but there are some tricky exceptions still ahead. The do's and don'ts of staying safe in the pandemic when you leave your house. This is the news on RTV6.
Wearing a mask to prevent the spread of COVID-19 is now mandatory in Indiana. That mandate took effect Monday as reports of new coronavirus cases remain higher than in months prior.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade talked to businesses and leaders in Hamilton County to find out how they are adjusting to the new rules.
Starting this week, masks are required everywhere statewide while inside at public places. We're breaking down the do's and don'ts and talking with businesses on how they're adjusting to the new standards. Offering massages, facials, and other treatments, Ella Bardo in the Imperial Spa in the Carmel City Center has been majorly impacted by the pandemic. For that reason, they've had to implement many safety precautions, including face masks.
We immediately have them wash their hands, we take their temperature, and we also have masks available for free. So I know it's hard with everybody adjusting right now. I'll sometimes still forget my mask in the car. So we have the free ones, and then we also have the cute ones if people want to buy those.
City Councilor Bruce Kimball says the city has a campaign, Wearing is Caring, with signs up and down the Monon Trail. Plus, the Carmel Fire and Police Departments have been working at different community events, trying to educate people and hand out free masks. According to the statewide mandate issued by Governor Holcomb, anyone older than 8 years old is required to wear a mask in public indoor spaces, on public transit, and outside when it's not possible to socially distance. Exemptions apply when you are eating, drinking, or participating in strenuous activity.
We passed a resolution very early asking people to wear masks. But again, we had been locked up and things were starting to drop. But now we're seeing things starting to move back up. So I think people are realizing the virus hasn't gone away. And if we really want to get back to semi-normal before the vaccine comes out, that we really do need to take the mask seriously.
Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Face masks are mandatory until at least August 26. Officials say the date may change depending on the state's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, masks are effective because coronavirus is mainly spread from person to person through respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs, sneezes, talks, or raises their voice. State and local health departments are charged with enforcing compliance through education, according to the executive order. By the way, violators will not face jail time or a fine.
Clouds arrive tonight. Our rain chances go up tomorrow. We'll talk about heavy rain potential and where it's most likely.
It's a new school year and many parents are asking, what am I going to do with my child? RTV6 is working to make sure that you have the tools and the information that you need to help your kid go safely back to school if that's your choice.
Our Lauren Casey is finding a lot of options families can choose between. This includes traditional school, e-learning, virtual charter schools, and even homeschooling, which we are learning is a very unique choice from the others.
So I think what's good for parents is just simply to know that there are options.
Zach and Megan Duke are living in the Center Grove School District with their 3 kids, Malia, Natalie, and little Judah. Zach is a missionary, Megan a stay-at-home mom and music artist. And just as faith is a common theme in Megan's music, the Dukes are relying on their faith, especially in these uncertain times.
We're just trusting that God is in control, that He's going to continue to lead us and guide us.
The faith just helps us to stay undisturbed in seasons of disturbance.
And they're taking a leap of faith, making the choice to homeschool their children, starting with Malia, who will be in the 1st grade. And it's a change. Zach has had family members in the Center Grove School District since its beginning.
All those who are going to the Center Grove school system, I know they're trying to figure it out. They're working really, really hard, and we want the absolute best for all the families and staff.
Supporting that community is still important while also building a homeschool community for Malia on their family farm.
Creating just a learning environment and atmosphere where she can have some peers as well.
But yet creating a network where there's a tutor that we can have that can have the same curriculum that can help all these families.
And creating a safe space.
It's small, you can distance easy, and you can also communicate with all the parents easily. And this will be out on the farm, and so there's going to be, they can go out and be in nature, they can play outside.
Zach and Megan spent a lot of time researching homeschooling, but many parents right now may be just looking at this as an option for the first time.
And maybe now they feel empowered. Some of them maybe feel pushed.
Tara Bentley is the executive director for the Indiana Association of Home Educators. Since 1983, the group has helped homeschooling families get started by answering questions and providing resources and support.
How many more families are contacting you compared to a normal year?
We have seen such a huge spike that I don't even know that we've had time to collect all the numbers.
There's still confusion in the age of COVID-19 as to what is homeschooling.
We have legal requirements that are based on our definition, how we're classified. So it's really important that people do understand the differences.
By definition, homeschooling in Indiana is non-public and non-accredited. Parents report attendance to the state and agree to provide an equivalent education, but the state cannot define that, so there's a lot of freedom.
We look at what the public school is doing maybe as a template, but we are free to decide what that actually looks like.
Bentley says that homeschooling allows parents to customize education to meet the needs of the child, but there are many challenges.
Even our homeschool community is overwhelmed with how will they meet in a way that they used to. We all hate the term a new normal. I would say it's not normal in any circumstance. And so you have to give yourself grace no matter what choice you make.
And for Zach and Megan, being supportive of all choices is important as we navigate this coming school year.
Giving grace to ourselves and grace to all the other families where we're just trying to figure this thing out.
Working for you, Lauren Casey, RTV6.
For a link to free resources and homeschooled families, click on this story at theindychannel.com/safelyback-to-school. Kevin.
Amanda, it's almost behind us. The warmest day of the week and of the 7-day forecast, probably of the 10 to 14-day forecast. We're down to 85 now. We hit 87 in Indy earlier. It's still 88, Sullivan, and in Bedford. Have you noticed the subtle increase in the high-level clouds across the state because of the rain and thunderstorms to the southwest? They will stay out of the central Indiana area tonight. Tomorrow they return in the morning hours. Heaviest rain Terre Haute to Indianapolis to Richmond south, and I think it may be south of that line. There'll be a sharp cutoff. Some spots may see 2 inches of rain or more. You can see that Terre Haute to Columbus south right now, pinpointed to have the heaviest rainfall. We should all at least see something, and we'll wait to see if that starts pushing a little more to the north. 7 a.m., rain most likely southwest, Terre Haute and Sullivan. By the time we get to 10, there's a broad area of some heavier rainfall from Terre Haute to just south of Indy to Bloomington and Columbus. That expands to the east. It doesn't necessarily surge north, though, along and south of Interstate 70. And then as we go to the afternoon hours, still ongoing rain to the south. That's why you could have these 2 to 3 inch rainfall totals for tomorrow. Definitely a cooler day because of the clouds and the frequent rain around. Temperatures will stay in the 70s, and that is not uncommon in the forecast. The chance for thunderstorms much less. Friday, 30% chance, temperature of 81 degrees. High temperatures from north to south will all hover right around 80 for the high, and as you'll see in the 7-day forecast here in a second, we're consistently in the upper 70s to low 80s, and even beyond what you're looking at here, the 6 to 10 day and 10 to 14 day outlook, which takes us into and deeper into August, calls for below average temperatures and above average rainfall. So we perhaps continue the theme of below average temperatures and above average rainfall. We'll be back with more after this.
Thanks, Kevin, for that. Indianapolis is a major racing city, and it's not just because of the Brickyard 400 and the Indy 500 races. USAC is a big part of the city's rich racing history.
And one of USAC's legends is still dominating, leaving drivers half his age behind. Brad Brown shows us how Dave Darland continues to do what he does in our Sports Extra Spotlight.
USAC's top national series are filled with the next generation of short track racing's young stars.
No problems up front for C.J. Leary, and he will get it done once again.
And in the mix with all of those teenagers and 20-somethings, Dave Darland continues to turn the wheel as well as anyone.
Yeah, it's like the old Garth Brooks song, you know, the competition's getting younger all the time, and that's true.
At 53 years old, Darland has pretty much done it all in his racing career and raced against some dirt track legends.
There's been lots of them, you know, going back to Bob Kinzer, Jack Hewitt, Rich Vogler. I mean, nowadays, you know, Sunshine and Justin Grant and Wyndham, and, you know, I could name, there's a bunch of, there's always been, you know, a big list of great drivers, and that's not changed today.
One of just 6 drivers to win all 3 USAC National Championships, Silver Crown sprints and midgets. His 62 sprint feature wins are still the most all-time. 2017, a member of USAC's Hall of Fame class. So what keeps him going?
I can't really pinpoint what does keep me going. I still enjoy it to a certain level, but, you know, it's deep and competitive, and, you know, we're somewhat competitive, just not quite maybe like I used to be, but we're still having fun and things are going okay.
The Darland name runs deep around the dirt tracks. Dave won 100 features driving with and for his dad, Bob. Now in his 5th decade behind the wheel, Dave continues carrying on a tradition of hard work and dedication to racing.
We got a good race team, and my car is fast. You know, got a good team here with, you know, helping me make this thing fast, and good sponsors to support us. So we're happy to be where we're at.
And so the laps keep turning. The hot summer nights spent looking for that next checkered flag, and knowing that he's got more laps behind him than ahead.
It is winding down. I'm not going to do this, you know, very many more years, but it's still fun, and I enjoy it.
Darland will be in action for the rest of Indiana's Sprint Week. Racing continues Wednesday night in Terre Haute. On Thursday, it's Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville. They'll be in Bloomington on Friday, and Tri-State Speedway in Halbstadt hosts the finale on Saturday. USACtickets.com for more information. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
We want to make sure you get the chance to join RTV6 in the Indiana Black Expo for Hiring Hoosiers Employment Opportunity Fair. It's coming up on Thursday, July 30th from noon until 4 p.m. Our virtual interview space will let you connect with recruiters directly from wherever you are. To get connected, visit IndianaBlackExpo.com. Kevin.
What do the next 5 days all have in common? A daily chance for showers and thunderstorms. They're most likely tomorrow. As I mentioned, first thing in the morning, southern half of the state, some spots, Mark and Amanda could see 2 to maybe 3 inches of rain in the southern half of the state by tomorrow evening.
Thank you, Kevin. Grab your umbrella for tomorrow. Thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. Our next newscast is tonight at 11. We'll see you then.